Bonjour and welcome to Rota's Industrial Black Metal Reviews. I've said this in a million times, I guess, pretty much, but having a good industrial black metal band is like winning on a lottery. What does it even mean? It means exactly that. Most bands that are so-called industrial and black metal at the same time tend to fall into the pit which is considered like mediocrity or even crappiness. However, there are exceptions to every rule, and industrial black metal is no exception. One of the better ones comes from Switzerland, and it's a band called Borgne. Now, this one is as old as late 90s, even though it might not ring a bell in your territory. Some people obviously know the band because it has been active throughout the years. And it's actually last year when I featured the band's latest endeavor until this one, an album simply called Why. These get a little bit confusing every now and then. Anyway, that was a Ludlow release, and that's exactly the case with this beautiful digibag as well. Let's just first take a look at this cover. I don't know if a video image would do justice to that, so maybe you will give a look, but there's something that really has this ominous feeling with this. It's kind of industrial, it's kind of a sinister, and there's something beautiful with these colors and all, even though a little bit of a quite something different than being bright, more like pale and all that stuff. Anyway, I think it's very fitting image with this kind of a sinister factory or whatever it is called in terms of being industrial black metal one. Now, why wasn't exactly totally full enjoyment, but it was quite nice a release. And the good news is this one is better. Why so? Well, let me try to explain it. Now, this one runs more than 70 minutes, which is most cases ever, despite whatever genre you're talking about, it's just too much. And unfortunately, that is the case here as well. But this is still a good album, and for the reasons I'm going to mention here. First of all, this album is filled with some kind of a sinister atmosphere throughout the length. That is, this is very dark. It's kind of oppressing. It feels like you're in a bad place. And that is one of those things which makes this album definitely worth listening to. Now, it means that this is quite different from those albums operating in black metal territory, which then again are about aggression or violence or, the kind of on your face kind of stuff, like all over the place and all that stuff. This is definitely closer to what are called like more kind of atmospheric type of black metal, but maybe don't usually operate in the terms of being industrial. That is, many black metal bands which are kind of atmospheric are usually somewhat soothing and maybe mid-tempo and all that stuff, where this one is definitely like a cyberpunk look into black metal. And even though that might sound really weird, like, hey, how can you combine cyberpunk to black metal? I think that's exactly what's going on here. A kind of a dystopian take into near future where everything is dark. You don't see sun shining. The clouds are dark and gray. It's maybe raining. You see these big ass skyscrapers which are looming all over you. People looking miserable, anguished, ready to kill for next meal or whatever. And it's just, lightning bolts are coming down and you're feeling like depressive, ready to die or, just fight another day to survive or whatever. But the point here is it's dark and sinister and there is no hope, no glimpse for a better day to come. Maybe a little bit like what Warhammer universe is doing in fantasy or sci-fi. The point here is everything is dark and at the same time it's very industrial. Now the curious thing is when I was looking at the members list, Borgne, I don't know how to pronounce it. As you can see, his instruments here listed are drums, vocals and guitars, and he has plenty of band he has gone through. And this pretty much shows that he is really very well versed with different kind of instruments, drums being one of them. But curiously enough, few of last Borgne albums, including Temps Morts, which is the album right here, doesn't have him playing the drums, and actually neither has the two previous ones at least. So instead of going for a more organic style of playing the drums and all that stuff, he decided, it seems, to go for what is usually called a drum machine. Programmed drums, more or less. That and lots of keyboards, and then obviously guitars and, well, vocals, which are present to be a black metal album. And in my opinion, the lack of real drums works for the favor of this album, because it kind of emphasizes the fact that this is industrial stuff. This is not man-made, but kind of a machine-made. And that, combined with this kind of a dark, looming feeling, kind of creates this cyberpunk feeling, like everything is just dystopian future and you're gonna die. No matter what you do. There is no hope. There is no better place. And in my opinion, this is actually the thing here which makes this album a good one. Now, what I was complaining about is the length. And there are a couple of reasons why that is a little bit problematic. First of all, the album is better at first tracks. You know, during those first tracks, the album is kind of nailing the boards on the floor and showing, hey, this is how it goes. Then you have this kind of an interlude part with acoustic guitars and no beats, no vocals and all that stuff, which kind of creates like a weird feeling like, hey, what happened to this industrial feeling? But I don't know. As an interlude, it kind of, works for me. But the last track, which is more than 14 minutes, goes towards ambience, but it's not a really good ambient track. So in my opinion, it feels like it's just there to bring this kind of extra length, and it doesn't really help the mood. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad one, it's actually pretty decent, but compared to the rest of the album, I would say the first tracks are the best. And having a little bit of a trimming down would have, in my opinion, helped the album to be a little bit better. I would say clearly some 10, even 15 minutes could have been removed without the band or album taking a hit, for the worse anyway. But anyway, be it as may, I still think this is a good industrial black metal album. First of all, and mostly for its dark presence. Secondly, because it feels not like a man-made thing. And these go in hand, especially when we're talking about industrial black metal. The less human presence you have on albums like this, the better. I think Mysticum really nailed it, and in my opinion, it pales in comparison to no band whatsoever. And only a few bands have even a slight idea how to make somewhat similar output in terms of industrial black metal. And I think Borgne is one of those bands that are showing skills how to do proper black metal in industrial ways. Most bands will fail. Borgne is going to prove they're not. So, in case you're not allergic to industrial black metal, go this one a chance. And once again, if you prefer physical copy, these kind of beautiful packaging, in my opinion, are the way to go. Once again, good job by Ladlow, French label, doing interesting releases. Go check out Borgne. I hope you like it. You will find the links provided in the description box of the review. Take care and enjoy.